You are sitting 3 feet away from someone, and they will not look at you. You said something wrong. You do not know exactly what. You apologized twice already. Both times, nothing. No words, no eye contact, just a closed, flat expression, and a silence that fills the whole room. You would almost rather they scream at you. At least yelling tells you something. This tells you nothing at all, and somehow that nothing is worse. If you have ever sat in a silence like that and felt your whole body go tense, waiting, bracing, checking their face over and over for any sign of a way back in, you already know this feeling has real weight to it. It is not in your head, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why silence can hurt more than shouting ever could and what it is actually doing to your brain while it happens. Here is where most people get it wrong. They think the silent treatment is just someone being cold or someone needing space. Sometimes that is true. But there is a specific weaponized version of silence that functions completely differently, and your nervous system knows the difference before your conscious mind does. Let me show you what is actually happening in your brain during that silence. There is a famous experiment in psychology called the still face experiment. A mother sits across from her baby and plays with them normally, smiling, responding, making sounds back and forth. The baby is calm and engaged. Then, on cue, the mother's face goes completely blank, no expression, no response. She simply stops reacting. Within seconds, the baby becomes distressed, not mildly annoyed, distressed. The baby reaches out, makes noise, tries every trick it knows to get a reaction. When nothing works, the baby often breaks down crying. Here is the part that matters. The mother in this experiment never yells. She never says a harsh word. She does nothing except stop responding. And that absence of response is enough to send a baby into genuine distress within seconds. We are not so different as adults. Our nervous system still runs on the same basic wiring. A blank, unresponsive face from someone we are emotionally connected to registers as a threat, not because of what they are doing, but because of what they have stopped doing. That is the first reason silence hurts. It removes the signal your nervous system depends on to know whether a relationship is safe. But there is a second layer, and this one is about pain itself, not just distress. Researchers have studied what happens in the brain when people experience social exclusion, being ignored, left out, or cut off by someone close to them. Using brain imaging, they found something remarkable. The same regions of the brain that activate during physical pain also activate during social exclusion. Your brain does not have two separate systems, one for a broken bone and one for a broken conversation. It uses overlapping circuitry for both, which means when someone goes silent on you, some part of your brain is registering that experience the same way it would register a physical injury. This is not an exaggeration for effect. This is what the imaging shows. Silence is not just uncomfortable. To your brain, it can genuinely hurt. So now you have two reasons. The nervous system reads a blank response as a threat signal, and the brain processes exclusion using the same pathways as physical pain. Neither of those requires a single raised voice. Here is the third layer, and this is where it gets more specific to the silent treatment as a tactic rather than just ordinary distance. Yelling, as unpleasant as it is, gives you information. You know what the person is upset about. You know roughly where you stand. You can respond to it, defend yourself, apologize, argue back, do something. Yelling, painful as it is, keeps a door open, even if it slams. Silence closes the door and gives you nothing to work with. No target for your response. No confirmation of what actually happened. No path back to repair, because repair requires two people participating, and one of them has left the exchange entirely without leaving the room. This is what makes silence function as a form of control. Whoever is silent holds all the power over when or if the conversation resumes. The other person is left to guess, apologize into a void, and wait for permission to be let back in. That imbalance is not accidental in every case. Sometimes it is the entire point. And here is the fourth layer, the one that often does the most damage over time. When someone gives you no explanation for their silence, your brain does not simply sit with the uncertainty. It fills the gap. And most people fill that gap with themselves as the villain of the story. What did I do? What is wrong with me? Why can't I just be easier to be around? Silence without explanation tends to get interpreted as confirmation of your worst beliefs about yourself because there is no competing information to argue against it. The other person's actual reasons, whatever they are, become irrelevant. Your own self-blame fills the space instead. So let's put this together. A blank response reads, as danger to your nervous system. Exclusion is processed by the same brain regions as physical pain. Silence removes your ability to participate in repairing the relationship, and your own mind fills the resulting gap with self-blame. None of that requires anyone to raise their voice even once. Now, this does not mean every quiet moment in a relationship is a weapon. There is a real and healthy version of needing space. The difference is not the silence itself. The difference is whether there is a signal attached to it. Healthy distance sounds like, I need some time. I am not ignoring you. I will talk to you tonight. That single sentence changes everything. It gives your nervous system the information it was built to look for. It tells you the door is closed for now, not gone. The weaponized version offers no such sentence. It offers nothing at all, on purpose, and lets your imagination do the damage instead. If you recognize this pattern in your own life, the first thing to know is that your reaction to it is not oversensitivity. Your body is responding exactly the way human bodies are built to respond to an unexplained loss of connection. That reaction is not the problem you need to fix. What helps is learning to name what is happening out loud, even just to yourself. This is silence without explanation. This is not information about my worth. This is the absence of information, and my mind is filling that absence with fear because that is what minds do. It also helps to ask directly, calmly, for the one sentence that changes everything. Are you needing space or are you upset with me? Either answer is more survivable than the guessing itself. Go back to that room for a moment. 3 feet away, the blank expression, the silence with no end in sight. This time, you understand what your body was actually responding to. Not weakness, not oversensitivity, a nervous system doing exactly what it evolved to do when connection suddenly goes quiet with no explanation attached. That understanding will not make the silence painless, but it will stop you from believing the story your mind tries to tell you. In the gap, the one where you are the reason, where you are too much, where you deserve to be shut out. You were not. You were simply a person whose brain reacted correctly to being met with nothing. If this helped you make sense of a silence you have lived through, subscribe for more videos breaking down the psychology behind the moments in relationships that hurt the most and why.